Hi, I'm Robert Bartlett. I'm the treasurer for the Loughborough LGBTA Association. I'm going to be talking about how being a gay student has affected my life here. I hadn't come out to anybody before coming to university. I was comfortably closeted, I suppose. I came out my first day of university. A friend of mine, Josh, he came up to me and asked me whether I liked boys or girls, and for the first time in my life, I answered boys. And the world didn't end the way I thought it would. They were great about it. All of the people I met at university were. I'm sure there were some people who wouldn't be as accepting, but I suppose I was lucky that way. I was surrounded by people who genuinely cared for me. A short time afterwards, I came out to my friends back home, and I came out to my parents, and they were great about it. And I suppose I had all of these worries and anxieties that I would lose the people that I loved in my life for no reason at all. Looking back, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem rational, but at the time, that's how I felt. And now, as cheesy as it seems, a weight has been lifted, and I feel a lot more comfortable in who I am. I feel like leaving university, I will have a much firmer sense of self. I will know who I am, and part of that is being gay. I joined the LGBTA at Loughborough University, and I made my way onto committee because I wanted to make sure that other people also had that, who maybe didn't have the welcoming arms of people that they immediately lived with at Loughborough. They would have somewhere to turn to. They would have the LGBTA.
Hi, I'm Andrew Part, and I'm the chair of the LGBTA here at Loughborough University. I chose to be on committee because Loughborough has a sort of a stigma, I'd say. I wouldn't, not necessarily homophobic, but people assume it's not necessarily the most gay-friendly place, and I wanted to say that I changed that and I made a difference because someone's got to do it, to be honest, and why not me? So, as for my coming out story, everyone asks you sort of what age did you come out at, what age did you know you liked boys instead of girls? And for me, I'd say I was comfortable and I knew my sexuality since I was, say, 13, 14, so that's quite a few years for me. And then coming out, I first came out to some friends in my secondary school, and I felt at the time that was the right thing to do. I wasn't really ready to tell my parents yet because, as you know, there are certain things you say to your parents that you wouldn't say to your friends and vice versa. So I decided I'd go for my best friends and it would get out from there because that's how schools are. No matter, gossip goes on like wildfire, so that sort of sorts itself out. At first I was a little bit shaky about how I was going to tell people because it's not, how do you bring that up in conversation? But it was I just plucked up the courage and sat my mates down and just confronted them and told them that I was gay. And they were really good with it, and then it sort of got around school like wildfire, but I was quite lucky my school was fairly accepting with it, so that worked quite well, I think. Then my parents, that was sort of like the next big hurdle because you don't want to keep secrets from your parents, but it's one of those things you don't know how they're going to react, and you've always got this fear of, well, how are they going to feel after it, because there's always going to be sort of a knock-on effect for them. But weirdly enough, they asked me instead of me having to tell them, which in some respects I'm happy about, in some respects I'm sort of like, well, I missed the opportunity there. So obviously they sat me down, and my mum asked me, she said that she noticed I had certain gay tendencies, and I just said, well, yes, I'm gay. And I mean, they've dealt with that really well because it's not something new in my family. My uncle has got 0 partners, so it's not like they've never heard of it before and they're not backwards about it. So they just want me to be happy, and I'm definitely a lot more comfortable being able to say it to people because I know it really shouldn't seem this way, but it can sometimes seem like a bit of not a dirty secret, but you get what I mean, because it's like you sort of have to hide it away from the world because it's not the social norm, so you feel like not everyone should know about it. Then obviously coming to university was the next step, and that's a whole new world because university's like this little capsule that it's like the whole world, but you've sort of taken this little bit and you've made it onto a campus. And especially when you're living with completely new people, instead of your friends who you see 9 to 5, socialise at the weekends, you've got to live with them, and that's really sort of, that was a bit of an issue, like when I came here, because you never know, do I tell them straight away, or because are they going to know me as Andrew the gay guy, or are they just going to know me as me? And you don't want to leave it too long because it seems is that mistrust. So I decided to leave it for a bit because I was trying to sort of hit the best of both worlds. And about 6 weeks in, I got voted onto committee, so I thought at this point, well, I'm probably going to be known on campus for my role, so I might as well tell them before they find out in some other way, and I wanted to use it for different things. So it took a while. I hinted at it, and they were like, "Are you bi?" And I was like, "No, I'm gay." And they were like, "Okay." So I mean, like, at first it's a bit of a shock. It's always a shock, someone suspecting something and someone actually knowing something. But they've been fine with it. I mean, like, there's always a bit of banter, but you have to be able to say that sort of thing. And if it's one of your mates, you know, it's nothing bad. It's just having a joke, and it's just like, it's a bit of me. And I'm comfortable with that. I mean, like, I know I've had a fairly good experience. I've never experienced any homophobia. I mean, you get the odd comment that you can sometimes think, well, how am I going to take that? But on the whole, I've had a very good experience with it all. And I think some people aren't anywhere near as fortunate as I've been. And I know a lot of people, I mean, some people watching this video will be thinking they might be having a terrible time, they might be experiencing bullying, their parents might have taken it the wrong way, etc. But as bad as life may seem, you might not be able to see the light on the other side of the tunnel and the grass green on the other side and all that cliche rubbish. But it genuinely does get better. You just have to take time and believe in yourself, because that's the key to it, I think. Once you're comfortable with yourself, then it's time to tell us, because unless you can feel comfortable in yourself, that's really going to have an effect on your life, and it's just not worth it, you stressing yourself out about it, when, in fact, what's the worst that can happen, I suppose?
Hi, I'm Craig, and I'm a homosexual. Bet that joke's been done a million times if you've been watching this whole series. But yeah, I'm in the master's year at university doing chemistry, and I've been involved with LGBT things for quite a while now. Going back in time to my teenage years, quite a long while away now, it seems. But no, I came out obviously when I was a teenager, 17 I was, and didn't really know how to come out. And I didn't end up with a choice. I had my partner stay over, and my mum sort of found out, in which we had to run away. Quite a few miles, because the only house that I could think of that would take us in was about 4 miles away. Had to run there in the pitch black and cold of winter with no coat. But after I got back, I had to have a chat with my parents, which wasn't fun. Not gonna lie, it was not fun. I then spent the rest of the night in my room and came down, later on in the day, and came later in the week, and it was awkward. It was awkward, and I spent most of that year trying to avoid them, where I really shouldn't have. I should have kept going back and saying to them, look, this is just who I am, you have to accept this. They do now. And this is the point of these videos. They do accept it now. They're never going to be happy with it. I'm not going to give them grandchildren, but they do accept the fact that this is who I am. When I came to university, I didn't go into halls, so I got very involved with the LGBT, as they sort of became my main friend group before I got into any of the other societies or got course mates or anything like that. And it really, really is a good thing, because some people don't have nice coming out stories, and they don't have good experiences while at university. Sometimes there's homophobia, sometimes there's all sorts of things that happen, but it does get better, and I'm now in a really positive place, having had a rougher coming out, and it is worth doing. Not until you're ready, but it is worth doing.
Hi, my name's Oscar. I'm 19. I study here at Loughborough University, and I'm also in the TA. My coming out story is probably the biggest anticlimax of my life. I spent about 4 years of my life worrying that I was going to get sort of kicked out of my house, that my family would take it really badly. And when I finally told my mum, all I got was okay, and that look on her face like she really didn't care. And she's treated me normally. And when the rest of my family found out, I got a mixture of reactions from they're really proud of me to my aunt, who's now jealous of my mum because she always wanted a gay son. When I started telling my friends, most of them didn't care. A few of my friends actually started hanging out with me a bit more. And when I came to uni, things got even sort of better for me because I sort of left a lot of that worry I had when I was younger behind entirely. And actually joining the TA was one of the more fun bits because they really don't care what you're like. The army sort of has this absolute equality sort of drilled into them. So no matter what happens, everyone's the same.
All of my friends were boys. I think I had my first female friend, proper female friend, at the age of about 7 or 8. And even then, I was mainly friends with her two brothers. So I guess, you could say it's not any surprise that I turned out to like girls. But I didn't really figure myself out until about the age of 15, when my friends helped me kind of come to terms with the fact that I'd realised that I had a massive crush on my best friend at the time. A best friend who actually turned around to me and said, "You have a crush on me." And she was awesome about it. But I mean, looking back, when I started coming out, I looked back at my life and went, no, I've been this way for as long as I can remember. But yeah, I came out in secondary school. Obviously, there were people there who didn't like it. They didn't really like me anyway, so they just used it as an excuse to try and bully me. Fortunately, my friends there stood up for me and helped me just kind of turn the other cheek to it. Which, obviously, if you don't have that support structure there, if you don't have that huge group of friends who will stand by you no matter what, it can look pretty dark. And even with that, there were times when I just said to myself, God, I wish I just liked boys. It would make things so much easier. And when I went to sixth form, I decided that I was going to try afresh and be this new person and try and fit in more, because I had transferred to a Methodist sixth form. So we were having sermons every month. We were having praises during assemblies every week. So I was a bit scared to come out there, but I had a couple of friends who I felt I could trust, who would stand by me like my friends at secondary school had. Unfortunately, when I came out to one of them, she claimed she was fine with it, and about a month later I received a note during a biology lesson from her, basically saying that she no longer wanted to be my friend. I found out through a mutual friend of ours that she had come to the conclusion that I had this big lesbian crush on her and it had scared her off, which I was quite disappointed about with her, because I'd made it clear when I came out that just because I liked girls didn't mean I instantly liked every girl I saw or met or was friends with, and I'd made it clear to her that I didn't have feelings for her other than friendship, but unfortunately it did ruin it. But then I met my main group of friends from sixth form who embraced that part of me as just a part of me. It wasn't who I was, it wasn't what defined me, it was another part of the person that I am. And they're my friends still to this day. When I go home, we hang out and laugh about everything, and that's where I met my girlfriend. through that group of friends, and they helped me and her, through coming out at sixth form together as a couple, putting up with the prejudices that we faced there, and we're still together now. We're about to hit 3 years together, which, given that we are in a long distance relationship at this age, I think it's pretty special. So I think without our friends we wouldn't have made it through that. And it really does show that if you find those friends, those people who will stand by you and who will help you through anything, it really can get better, no matter how dark it seems. But then, I'm now at university. I'm in my final year, and I've been out since my first day of uni, because my halls of residence, I had a roommate, so I felt that it was something that she would need to know, because if there was a problem with that, if she wasn't comfortable, I'd have to say okay, and I'll find a way to get transferred. So I came out to her. I said I have a girlfriend. Not really interested in cheating on her in any way, so don't worry, be fine. But unfortunately, again, as in sixth form, it turned out that she wasn't as comfortable as she first said she was. In fact, it turned out that she was rather homophobic and was highly uncomfortable when my girlfriend came to visit, to the point where she actually set the sub-warden on me at one point. So that Christmas in my first year, I contacted one of the other halls, the warden's there, and he didn't ask me why. He didn't ask for information. He said, okay, let's get you into a new flat here. So I moved in January. It was just after my exams, so I moved in, and first day met one of my new flatmates. Really nice young girl, really friendly, and as she walked away down the hall, I noticed that she was wearing a belt that said "Jesus loves you" on the back. Of course, at this point my heart sank somewhat, going, God, what have I done? Jumped out the frying pan into the fire. So I was panicking, going, okay. I'd already come out to her at this point before realising, so I was like, okay, I can't take that back, and I can't hide again. I'm just going to have to hope for the best and just deal with it. And I was really worried that it was going to just blow up in my face again. But that weekend, we were all sat in the kitchen, chatting away, getting to know each other, and she turned around to me and asked me when my girlfriend was going to come up to visit, because she really wanted to meet her and get to know her. And just the weight that lifted off my shoulders to know that I was finally in a place where I was being accepted again, where I could, be comfortable, be myself, was amazing. And I doubt I'm the only person who's got this story. I'm sure it's happened at many other places to many other people. And times looked really dark when I was with that roommate, and I was feeling highly uncomfortable with her. And I went to the LGBTA here. I went to my first meeting, and I met people who were like me, who had their different backgrounds, their different stories, and they essentially helped me through that time, helped me stand up for myself and say, no, I'm not going to deal with this, not again. People can hate me, they can ridicule me for who I am, for what I am, but it only works if you let them win, and if you stand up for yourself, then they don't win. So for all those people out there who think that times are really bad and dark, it really, really does get better.
So, as you can see from this video, everyone's experiences of homophobia and coming out are different, some better than others, some have been really well accepted and some not so. But I hope you can see that no matter how bleak a situation may be, and that even if you can't see past it at the moment, there is a big wide world of people out there that are willing to accept you for who you are, And I know we don't live in a perfect world and there's always going to be homophobia, but it's just like any other prejudice, it's being stamped out slowly and it just takes time, unfortunately. When you think about it, isn't it silly that we feel like we have to announce to the world who we are just because we're not the social majority? But again, that's just the way society's evolved, and again, that's changing. So, I mean, just think about 100 years ago when it was completely taboo to be gay, lesbian, bi or trans, anything like that, and how far we've come, and that it's now quite widely accepted. Again, it's not everyone doesn't accept it, but it's getting there. It's definitely getting there. And so I'd like to say thanks for watching this video, and on behalf of our association, I wish you all the best in the future. And I know I've been banging on about this whole video, but no matter how bad your situation might be at the moment, whether you think it's going to work out, whether you don't think it's going to work out, whatever, I can promise you that it does get better.
It gets better.
It gets better.
It gets better.
It always gets better.
It gets better.